Hey guys, Anthony Curran here. I wanted to talk to you about what you should do with your first real paycheck. So I had somebody email me about this yesterday, and I thought I would make a video. I responded to the email, but I thought it might be good if somebody else wanted to know what they should do with it for them to be able to see this video too. So the first thing you need to do is set up a budget for yourself. Know how much money is coming into your household, how much money has to come out, and what you're going to be left over with. I already made a video about how to budget. I'll probably make something a little more updated. I'm going to try a couple of new things here with this program and see if I can get it figured out. But the first thing we need to do is set a budget. So once you've made a budget and you know how much money is coming in every month and how much money is going out every month, I follow Warren Buffett's advice. Warren Buffett said, always pay yourself first. And what that means is we're going to take a part of that paycheck and pay it back to ourselves. So what I mean by that is you're going to invest at least 10 to 20%, depending on how comfortable you are. I might even suggest more. But what you want to do is put money towards the future. Now, I've talked a lot about compound interest. The magic number of wealth is, I think, is the name of the video from earlier. Check that out if you haven't yet. But what we want to do is we want to start building that compound interest as early as possible. Quick story about compound interest that'll help illuminate the point. Let's say we have two guys, Alan and Barry, A and B. So Alan, at the age of 18, starts investing $2,000 a year, and he does that for 7 years until the age of 26. So at this point, he's invested $12,000, $14,000 a year, right? And then he completely stops. He leaves the money in his stock portfolio, doesn't touch it ever again, doesn't think about it, doesn't look at it, just goes about his business, right? Barry, his brother, sees that Alan has a little bit of a nest egg built up and decides at the age of 26 he's going to start doing the same thing. And he puts $2,000 in from the age of 26 to the age of 65, right? So at this point, Alan's only put in 12, 14,000, and Barry's put in a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars compared to Alan's very small amount that he put in a little bit earlier. But here's the magic formula. Because of compound interest being an exponential curve, Alan has 7 more years of compounding on top of what Barry has and winds up making over $700,000 more. So, obviously, if you are a young person getting your first paycheck, it is imperative that you start putting money aside for the future so that when you're older and you have bills and you have kids and you have a mortgage and you have a boss screaming down at your desk, you have that little bit of nest egg built up already. Get it early, get it quick, get it going. That's rule number 1. Okay, so we've got a little bit of our money set aside. We've paid ourselves first. What's next? We have to pay the bills. So if you've done your budget correctly, you will know what your monthly expenses are for rent or mortgage if you have it, gas and electric if you have it, trash collection if you have it, water if you have it. You see where I'm going with this? Your car payment, your student loan payment, any of those kind of things. If you have those mapped out correctly, then you should know that every month, out of every paycheck, if you get paid weekly, you should be taking a little chunk of that and putting it away so that when bills start coming, you're already ready to get it, right? So, we pay ourselves first, then we pay all the bills. And I know what you're thinking, but what if I don't have enough money to do both? If you don't have enough money to do both, you have way too many bills, you need to reorganize, you need to reevaluate that, and I'll create a whole nother video series about doing that for you. But if you have to, pay the bills, don't worry about paying yourself first, but remember, any extra money that you get that you can, use that to pay yourself. It's going to help you a lot in the long run. Okay, so we paid ourselves, we paid our bills, time to treat ourselves, right? Not so fast. There's a couple other things that you need to set up. I just made a video about HSAs. If your employer has the ability to give you an HSA, you need to set one up now. It's another way that you can accumulate interest. It's another way that you can invest, but it's also a great way for you to take some of the money that you've got and disperse it if you ever need it for a medical expense. So it's kind of like a rainy day fund. So I would definitely recommend pay yourself first, pay your bills, get an HSA going. Now, what's number 4? I'll tell you. All right, I'll tell you. I'm just messing with you. So, number 4, we need to set up a savings account. We need to have 3 to 6 months of expenses put away in that savings account. And the reason why is this. Let's say you work in a highly competitive job field. Let's say programming, right? You're a computer programmer, you are working for some big company, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and you're making a ton of money. Good for you. But a round of layoffs come through suddenly, and you are without a job. Well, you've got bills piling up, and you don't have any money coming in. That's why we need a rainy day fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses is all you need. Anything beyond that, you really don't have to worry about putting too much into your savings. You should honestly be putting more of that into your investment portfolio, or, doing whatever you want to do with it, I guess. But my recommendation would be invest more and more and more. Okay, so to review, we have paid ourselves first. We have paid our bills. We have set up an HSA. We have put money aside in a rainy day fund. Now we're at number 5, treat yourself. It is time for you to take some of that money that you have earned, you have worked hard for, and to give yourself a little reward. But one thing I will tell you is this: it is a slippery slope if you start treating yourself every single day. I know there's that old story about if you were to stop buying that $4 cup of coffee every day and invest it instead, you'd make $100,000 in 40 years. I don't really care about all that. What I'm telling you is this: if you get that first big paycheck and you immediately go buy a video game console, go out to a fancy dinner, go buy a new flat screen TV, one thing that I'll tell you from my experience in commission sales, one thing a lot of people used to do once they got that first big commission check is they'd go out and they'd finance a car. Well, that's really dumb. And here's why. That commission check is not always going to be the same, and it's not always going to be there for you. So my advice to you is this: treat yourself with something small and manageable, and something that you don't have to make a bunch of payments on. Generally, the best thing for you to do is to do something that's feasible for you to do every week if you wanted to, or every other week, depending on how you get paid. Every paycheck, you should be able to give yourself some little treat. One other thing I will tell you that's helped me a lot: what I'll do if I find a product or something that I really want, a pair of shoes, a jacket, whatever, I'll write that thing down on a piece of paper. I'll put it on my bookshelf here. I'll close it up in a book. I'll put that book aside so I know which book it is, and I'll not think about it for a week. I'll go do other stuff, and I'll come back to it at the end of the week. I set a little alarm in my phone. If at the end of the week I open that book up, read the thing that I wrote down, and I think, you know what, I still want that, now I will buy it. But it's one of those ways that'll save you from making those impulse late night infomercial purchases, which I'm sure a lot of us out there are guilty of. So those are the things that I would do with your first paycheck. If you have any questions on it, please email me, anthonytcurran@gmail.com. Check out my website, anthonycurran.com, and of course, please like and subscribe to my channel. Hope everybody has fun. Hope this helped you out, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.